You haven't seen what I've seen.
Calm down.
The Blood Covenant. A group of high school boys prick their fingers. While taking a vow to be brothers for life, they get interrupted by a girl. Years later, these kids grow to pursue different career paths. Eddie, a real estate developer. Jite, a pharmacist who manages his wife Ada's pharmaceutical company. Osi, a drug addict turned computer hacker who dabbles in fraud. And Obi, an eccentric billionaire with a mysterious source of wealth. Eddie, aka the calculator, gets into his car to go to work when a neighborhood hustler tries selling him a necklace. He gives the boy some money and proceeds to start his faulty car. Next, we see a group of Yahoo boys who get pranked by Osi.
Freeze! Fake man.
He shows the boys he has successfully cloned a website of a financial institution. The boys also tell him about a mark that they were close to securing. The target was a foreigner and they were estimating making $50,000. They wanted him to join the deal. He accepts. Pharmacist Jita is a manager at Majestic Pharmaceuticals. He was trying to secure an additional loan from his bank. His request was rejected because he had an outstanding debt. He meets his wife, Ada, waiting for him in his office. She had inherited the company from her late father. She inquires regarding certain details about the management of the company, and he assures her everything is under control. She takes her leave, and his chief of staff, Udwak, confronts him for not telling her the whole truth regarding the financial situation of the company. Unfortunately for him, his wife overhears their own conversation.
What? What did you say?
She menacingly warns him not to jeopardize the company. Eddie is trying to close a real estate deal with a client.
If I handle this project in 2 weeks, you and your beautiful wife will be able to move in.
She's not my wife.
When almost securing the deal, the client comes across a moldy spot in the apartment, and the deal is called off. Osi tries to score the romance scam but messes up by mistaking his residence for a girl's name.
How's Saskatchewan?
She's doing amazing.
Fuck you, bastard!
Baba, Saskatchewan is where you live.
As he leaves, he gets kidnapped. Eddie gets scolded by his boss for not being able to close the deal. Kenny, his colleague, who had a crush on him, tries to cheer him up by taking him out for breakfast. On their way, he tells her about his high school reunion, which was to happen the following day, and she jokes about him not inviting her. Osi is held at gunpoint. He was captured by Rufus, the boss of his scam syndicate, because he was in debt. He was threatened to do a job in order to get his debt cancelled. It is revealed that the Yahoo boy was a serious drug addict. Jite comes home. His wife finally confronts him regarding the financial mess.
I had no choice. Your brothers are in the US demanding $500,000 every year for upkeep, and your mom is here doing the same thing.
She accuses him of having an affair with his chief of staff. Eddie, who was squatting with Osi, gets a visit from Mama Advantage, their landlady. She was searching for Osi because he still owed her rent. She threatened to evict them both should they fail to pay. When she leaves, Osi comes out of the sofa he was hiding in. He had squandered the money Eddie had given him for rent on hard drugs.
You don't go use this money high.
Osi goes to the bathroom with Eddie's face sponge.
Now my face sponge don't use clean hand. Stop this thing now.
Jite, Osi and Eddie meet up at a bar for a hangout. Osi mentions that their high school friend Obi was now a billionaire. They complain about how Obi has been difficult to get in touch with. Eddie mopes about how he has failed to be successful in life. Jite cheers him up. The next night, they go for the reunion.
See this guy. That guy will shit for body faster than me.
Eddie and Osi were mistaken for waiters by the bouncers and have an altercation which was stopped by Ada and Ronke.
You push person now. You know this way they push person. Now why time we now, guy now? Are you for real? What did I do?
They were finally let in. See finish. In the reunion, Osi goes lovey-dovey with Ronke. Meanwhile, Eddie complains to Jite about how the bouncers blocked them while they were going in. They get interrupted by Bode Davies, the school bully. He boasts to Jite that his wife came looking for help from him. He snarkily remarks that Eddie looks like a waiter.
Do I look like a waiter to you? Could have fooled me.
Jite tells his wife he was unhappy that she met Bode for help. He had planned to get help from Obi instead, but she accuses Obi of being a fraudster. Just then, Obi steps into the reunion with his harem. See oppression. He greets them with handshakes, including Eddie, whom he calls by his nickname.
Calculator, why are you born?
He should have been nicknamed the Complainer. He complains that Obi has been out of reach for the past 3 years. Obi apologizes. Ada was straightforward to ask what was the source of his wealth. He explains to them that some years ago he created an electronic platform used by state governments. So he gets a small commission for every transaction that is done on the app. Bode comes to greet Obi, but he gets snubbed. Apparently, Bode once peed on Obi's school uniform during PE. The boys accept him back after the explanation. They then leave the reunion to go have some fun. At the hangout spot, they drink to stupor and get knocked out. They wake up to find themselves in a ritualist's den. Obi walks in with a knife. He was about to sacrifice them when they get into a tussle. And OC stabs him. They are confused as to what was happening when a Baba walks in.
The covenant has been transferred.
He then leaves, and not long after, a team of police officers bursts into the den. They find Obi dead and take the friends into custody. While interrogating them, it is revealed that the police had been investigating Obi for some time as being culpable for a number of ritualistic murders. They had been tracking him looking for evidence.
We traced the murders of at least 4 men and 6 women.
And you didn't arrest him.
They were allowed to go. Eddie was threatened by his boss that he will receive no salary if he fails to sell an apartment. Chite gets threatened by his wife for not doing a good job. He then receives a phone call informing him that Bode wanted to see him. Osi was back to doing drugs. By their next hangout, we find out that their fortunes had turned. Osi had successfully completed the job for Rufus and was given a cut of the returns. Chite had secured a loan from Bode. The excitement had made him kiss his chief of staff, Udwak. Eddie was also successful as he had sold out an entire building, not just rent out an apartment. Osi says their turn of fortune was because of the incident with Obi. Eddie was skeptical. They brush off the matter and go out to party. Eddie, Osi, and Chite have their finances and careers become successful. Eddie and Osi get a new apartment. Meanwhile, the detective who was investigating the late Obi was on their case, keeping a close watch on their activities. Eddie and Osi get an unexpected appearance of the chief priest at their doorstep. He tells Eddie their time is
Up.
and he should come see him. Eddie tells him to get out.
Covenant demand.
Immediately he leaves. Rufus busts into the apartment. He demands for his money and gives him a deadline of 2 days to get it. As soon as he leaves, Eddie gets a call that building control inspectors are at the site because their C of O is not valid. Osi, on finding out that they were both in a bad rap, stares aghast and reveals that the chief priest had appeared to him in the club toilet the previous week, telling him time is up. Eddie tells him the same thing happened just before the break-in. Osi also reveals that he had wired the money to Rufus, but it somehow disappeared, and he was convinced it was the work of Juju, popularly known as Jazz. Eddie refuses to acknowledge the handiwork of higher powers. To verify, they contact Jite to find out if he had his share of misfortune. The Baba had also appeared to Jite in his office and gave him his contact address.
In African science, be this. When I just.
They head to an isolated forest in search of the shrine that night.
Is that it? No. Now Yama that joined that. Is that it? How many gods is it for who that will come?
They meet the Baba, who clarifies to them that the oath they had carried out in high school was the basis of Obi's wealth. He wanted to upgrade to the next level, which was why he tried to sacrifice them. However, by killing him, the benefit of the sacrifice was transferred to them. Eddie wanted living because he wanted nothing to do with the covenant, but Baba insists that the three of them are one, and the covenant cannot be valid if they don't all agree in unison. Jide forces him to stay. Baba gives them the task to upgrade to the next level. It required them batting in the middle of the market. Osi secured a young man called Advantage, his former landlady's son, to be their driver. They carried out the ritual and quickly escaped so as not to be identified. Their fortunes return. Eddie gets a visit from Inspector Gassara. She shows him a recording of the three of them bathed in the market, but Eddie denies it. Eddie informs the rest about the development and they resolve to be more discreet so as not to get caught. Osi becomes ostentatious with his wealth. Advantage now looks up to him as a mentor. He wants Osi to show him the way, but Osi refuses. He, however, splashes him with cash and a luxurious lifestyle in exchange for his silence. Osi's ostentatious lifestyle draws the attention of the Cybercrime Division, who investigate him in connection to Rufus's syndicate. During his birthday party, they crash the celebration and arrest him for money laundering and fraud. Eddie gets a death threat from Rufus that both he and his girlfriend Kenny would be killed should Osi speak and implicate him. The next day, they meet Osi in the cell, telling him of the development. Osi says they have to meet Baba again once he gets bailed out of jail. After bail, they organize a party at a club, which they use as a cover to escape and see Baba. Baba tells them the next level requires human sacrifice. They try rejecting the demand, but Baba disappears. Jite suggests that they utilize the corpse of an unidentified criminal from a mortuary. They bribed the guard of a mortuary. While securing the corpse, they are almost caught and they had to hide.
Cool, what kill me?
They successfully secured the corpse in the car trunk. While transporting the corpse, they are blocked at the checkpoint. They did not have cash to bribe the policeman, and so Advantage the driver sped off. The police shot at the car. Advantage was injured. Rather than taking him to the hospital, they proceed to the shrine because they were scared they would get caught by the police. Baba considers the already dead corpse as an insult to the gods. However, Advantage would be an acceptable sacrifice. Baba proceeds to sacrifice him. This causes discord between them. Eddie vows not to speak with them again. Detective Katara again confronts Eddie, revealing she's aware that they were into money rituals, but she does not yet have the evidence. She mentions that the old man they mentioned fit the description given by other suspects of money rituals. She says she noticed the man has visited them several times. She says that coincidence would explain how fire gutted the office that held the evidence against Ose, or that Jite getting the loan extension was because Bode slept with his wife. Who knows, perhaps African science might explain how snakes swallow public funds. Eddie gets married to Kenny, his colleague at work. Jite gets a new string of bad luck and he informs Ose about it. The funds he forwarded to an Indian company for supplies had not been received. On hearing the name of the company, Ose reveals that he had hacked that company some months back. Jite gets furious and blames Ose for his predicament. Jite goes to see Baba alone and Baba tells him he knew he would come.
I knew you would be the one.
He gave him the terms of the next level sacrifice to be the killing of his covenant brothers, along with the woman he loves. Jite does not like that and leaves frustrated. He tells his wife about what happened to the funds, and she reveals she was aware that he was in a blood covenant. She had tracked them on the night that Advantage was sacrificed and partook in the blood pact. She proceeds to tell Jite to carry out the next level sacrifice ordered by Baba. She tells him that it must have been providence for him to have affection for his chief of staff, Udwak, as she would be suitable for the sacrifice. She also suggests she will help organize a reconciliation meeting during which they will be captured. They proceed as planned and bring all parties together. Jite drugs Udwak. He meets up with the rest of his friends and knocks out Ose in the bathroom. Eddie sees this, but before he could act, it is revealed that his pregnant wife had been taken captive by Ada, and to free her, he must give himself up. They proceed to the shrine for the ceremony. Eddie pleads to say his final goodbye to his wife and unborn child. He sees the opportunity to give her a hint on how she can escape.
What do you think I was going to do? Pick the knife on the table.
The ceremony proceeds and Jite kills Ose.
See you on the other side, bro.
As he was about to kill Eddie, his wife sets herself free and knocks Ada and proceeds to free Eddie. While they try escaping, Mrs. Jite was still confused regarding what was going on and demanded an explanation. Someone is chasing you with a knife and you are waiting for explanation. Okay. Baba advises Jite to kill the one he loves before chasing the others. Jite surprisingly kills Ada instead of Udwak. He then goes after Eddie and Kenny. They get in the car, but the battery had run down and did not start. The movie turns into a jump scare horror flick. They struggle.
This is what you become. I did what I had to do. What did you?
Jite stabs Eddie and Eddie gives Jite a fatal wound. Baba comes once again and claims that he knew Eddie would be the one to complete the sacrifice.
I knew it would be you. The seal of destiny is upon you.
He orders him to seal it by killing the woman he loves. Eddie takes the knife and stabs Baba instead. Baba dies, but not before placing his curse on him. Eddie, his wife and Udwak escape the shrine. His wife breaks up with him. Eddie, reading with guilt, reports himself to Inspector Kasara. He was later convicted as an accomplice to murder and sentenced to 30 years in jail. The moral of this movie is, don't do jazz or keep those involved with jazz within your cycle, because it always escalates. It is of no profit to gain the world and lose your soul. I recommend this movie for people who love light-hearted comedy that ends up as a slasher horror movie. Please like, share and subscribe.